If you receive an offset notice and you filed a joint return and your spouse owes a debt, remember that you may be eligible to be treated as a non-liable spouse. A designation as a non-liable spouse, or NLS, means that you are not responsible for paying your spouse's debt. It protects your refund from being used for this purpose. You just have to complete a non-liable spouse worksheet and submit it on time. The NLS worksheet is included with your offset letter and is also available at tax.ohio.gov/offset. Before you get started, make sure you have these items ready: your federal and Ohio tax returns, all wage and income statements like W-2s and 1099s, and a calculator. Let's now look at how to complete the non-liable spouse worksheet. Line 1 is where you'll enter your portion of Ohio income tax withholding. These amounts include Ohio income tax withheld reported on your W-2 in Box 17, W-2G in Box 15, and your 1099-R. This also includes refundable credits reported on an Ohio ITK-1 or a credit certificate. So, in this example, we have a non-liable spouse and a liable spouse. The non-liable spouse had $1,601.60 in Ohio income tax withholding, and the liable spouse had $327.60 in Ohio income tax withholding. On line 1 of the worksheet, you will only enter the non-liable spouse's withheld income. We found the non-liable spouse's withholding totals on his W-2s in Box 17. He did not have any income from a 1099-R, and he did not claim any refundable credits. We input that total into line 1 like this. Let's now move to line 2. Here enter the non-liable spouse's portion of Ohio estimated and extension payments. This is your portion of the amount found on line 15 of the Ohio IT 1040. This will go on to line 2 of the worksheet. These amounts include any estimated or extension payments you made using the Ohio Universal Payment Coupon, or OUPC. You should also include any credit carryforward from your previous year's refund. For our example today, this line will remain at 0, so no changes are needed to the form. Now for line 3, you will calculate the non-liable spouse's total tax payments. Simply add together your entries from lines 1 and 2 of this worksheet. This combined total represents all the payments and credits the Ohio Department of Taxation will consider when determining your portion of the refund. For line 4, enter the non-liable spouse's portion of line 1 from the Ohio IT 1040. You can calculate this by adding together the income from your individual wage and income statements and the corresponding lines on your federal tax return. Keep in mind that this amount can be 0 or even negative, even if your total federal adjusted gross income is positive. When we add the federal adjusted gross income into the worksheet, it will look like this. Again, it is just the non-liable spouse's portion. On line 5 and 6, you will enter the non-liable spouse's portion of any additions or deductions from the Ohio Schedule of Adjustments. This is the specific portion belonging to the non-liable spouse from line 2A and 2B of the Ohio IT 1040. For our example today, these lines will remain at 0, so no changes are needed to the form. On line 7, you will determine the non-liable spouse's portion of the Ohio adjusted gross income. To calculate this, add lines 4 and 5 of this worksheet together, then subtract line 6. If the result is less than 0, enter 0. This line will automatically be calculated if using the electronic worksheet. For line 8, you need the total Ohio adjusted gross income. Simply enter the amount exactly as it was reported on line 3 of your Ohio IT 1040. When we add that total into the worksheet, it will look like this. Now let's move down to line 9. To get the amount to put into line 9, divide line 7 by line 8. This line will automatically be calculated if using the electronic worksheet. Now let's look at line 10. This is the total Ohio tax liability. Just enter the amount exactly as it appears on line 13 of your Ohio IT 1040. For our example today, we will add in $921 from line 13 on the IT 1040, which looks like this. Moving to line 11, multiply line 9 by line 10 of this worksheet. If you are using the electronic worksheet on our website, this amount will be calculated for you automatically. Finally, we've reached line 12, the non-liable spouse's refund. To find this amount, Subtract line 11 from line 3 of this worksheet. This line is automatically calculated if you're using the electronic worksheet. This total represents your protected portion of the refund. If this worksheet is completed correctly and submitted before the deadline on your notice, this amount will not be subject to offset and will be refunded to you, along with any applicable interest. To submit the form electronically, go to tax.ohio.gov/NLS.